Hey guys, this is sycknesS here. I'm going to be showing you guys a game of my ladder experiences, and it's going to be a ZVZ. I'm spawning here in the blue, and my opponent, sycknesS, is spawning here in the red. Now, we're both going to open pretty standard here on this map. You know, as far as 4-player maps, sometimes people are going to go hatch first, sometimes people will go gas pool, but it's going to turn out that I'm going gas pool, and sycknesS is going to go hatch first. But I'll show you how I maintain my economic advantage throughout the game, and I'll tell you guys what's going on in my mind as I play. My overall goal is going to be to keep map control in the early game with Speedlings, and try to outproduce his army in the early game, and apply pressure if I can. And then what I'm going to do once I have map control is try to out-macro him. So that's just kind of my general thoughts on what my goals are. But I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking when, all the little battles happen and my movement around the map and whatnot. So, as you can see, I just got my extractor. I'm going 14 extractor, 14 pool. Both of us can see what the other one is doing. I'm like, he's got no pool, so he's going to go hatch first. And, that's fine. Hatch first is good. Lately I prefer getting pool, an extractor, and then into about a 20 or so hatch. And that lets you get an earlier queen, lets you put a little bit more pressure on early, and it keeps you safe from, 6 pools, cheeses, what have you. So I see, he's got his expo up. Obviously, I saw the drone go out there. He's got a late pool, even later extractor. So that late extractor can mean roaches, but it doesn't necessarily mean roaches, because when you go hatch first, you're going to want to get a late extractor anyway. So I'm not sure what he's going to be doing, but I get 100 gas, and then I move my drones off of gas. This allows me to get my hatch down pretty quick, and it also is going to allow me to pump a lot of Speedlings. So Speedlings early are going to just give me great map control. Just going to allow me to put the pressure on him instead of being pressured myself. You can't really, unless he goes Banelings, you can't really pressure someone who's going pure Ling. And lately, I've been dropping a Baneling nest to right before I pull my guys off gas. So I'll get 50 extra gas, build a Baneling nest, and then pull my guys off gas then. So it allows me to play defensive Banelings if they do go offensive Banelings. And defensive Banelings is always pretty good against offensive Banelings. But in the meantime, I don't see any Banelings. I haven't seen anything in his base. He does have a roach worn down, but I do not know that yet. He's making some roaches. He sees my lings early. He's forced into some roaches. He's forced to block his ramp. That's a good play. Some people won't even do that, but that's pretty much essential against early Speedlings. It's gonna, it won't let me kill him, but he's still gonna be behind, as you'll be able to see. Normally, if they don't block this at all, I could just be all up in his mineral line, all up in just killing his drones, just wreaking havoc in his base. He won't know if I'm producing drones back at home or if I'm producing lings. So I'm going to get a nice little pack of lings. A lot of times you can harass down this expo, but as you will see, he deals with it pretty well. And you can always go for a little surround on his roaches too. If I decided to pump more lings, I could have put more pressure on, but as you'll see, I'm about to shoot up in drone count. So while he has the advantage now, he won't have it for long, because he doesn't know what I'm doing. He doesn't know if I'm producing more lings for an all-in. He doesn't know I'm just going drones. But as you'll see, I'm just pure pumping drones. He needs to pump more roaches because he's on the defensive. He has no map control. He has no vision. You can see with overlords here and here, but I can always just rally, build up an army here, and then rush him whenever I feel the need to. But him, he's going to need to keep all of his units pretty much at the front. He could do the same, but it's, again, it's risky. So he just doesn't know. He's in the dark. I'll be able to poke in and scout his army. You know, I'm denying his third, not that you'd take it this early anyway. So I just have lings here and here, and I have map vision. I'm in control right now because, as you can see, I'm up 10 drones already. Because, you know, he's scared. He doesn't know what's going on. And, transitioning into roaches because, you know, obviously I'm not just going to Speedlings all game, but the early pressure with lings is really nice against someone who's going roaches. It's really hard for the guy who's going roaches to really overcome that. Perhaps a timing Baneling roach push would be pretty good against it, but a lot of people just like to go pure roaches in DMZ nowadays. He's getting early upgrades, which is nice. You know, he's getting speed and +1 on his roaches. My layer is going to be a little bit later than his, but that's alright because, you know, I'm keeping a economic advantage here. And, you know, with this I'm just going to work, try to make my lead bigger and bigger. Just, you know, keep pumping drones, keep staying ahead of him in drones, but at the same time, make sure that he's not able to just push me and win. So, you know, I see, what is this, well, almost 8 roaches, and I'm like, okay, you know, his army's not that big. I can make some more drones. I want to also start making roaches as well. You know, I can't just make drones forever. But my goal is going to be I'm going to try to take an earlier third than him. I'm going to try to deny his third with packs of Speedlings or, you know, just however I can. And right now his army is just really immobile. Mine can just, you know, cross the map within a matter of seconds. So I saw this ling coming down here. I want to deny his scout, even though he does have an overlord. I'm really aware of that. And now he's got an overseer. You know, I'm getting my upgrades a little bit later, which is fine. You don't really need upgrades on roaches if you're playing defensive, but you don't need speed. Obviously, +1 is going to be nice. I should get that right when my Evo chamber finishes, but I was a little slow this game. Here I am putting up my third, about 10 minutes in. It's pretty good timing, you know. I have both my bases pretty much saturated fully. So, you know, that's a good time to take a third. Maybe a little bit earlier, a little later. You know, kind of depends on the situation. So, we see here, he's trying to stay up in drone count, but, you know, at the same time, he just doesn't really know what my army's like. He has an overseer. He hasn't scouted that I only have that few roaches. And even still, you know, my army count is a little bit ahead of his, just because I've had the economic advantage for so long. And he just gets away with that overseer. That's rough, but, you know, we'll see. And now he's done with his burrow and his speed, so he's like, alright, I'm going to push out. And, you know, I see this coming. I'm like, alright, I could try backstabbing with my lings here and here, but in the end, I think it's going to be better to just pull them back, play defensive. I'm already up a base on him. Alright, I still have the eco advantage. You know, I just want to deflect this attack and out-macro him. Just continue to outproduce and out-macro. So, he gets a nice spread there, a little bit better than mine, but I have the lings to back me up. So, right here, I just want to trade pretty evenly, and with an extra base on him and more drones, I'll be able to out-macro him and just produce a bigger army. It looks like his rally point's a little bit messed up. Rally pointing in here, get a few roaches killed. I have an overseer for his burrow now, so if he burrows, tries to micro with that, I can just snipe his burrowed roaches, which I'm doing here and here. And so I deflected that attack just barely. I made enough drones to still have the advantage in drones, and I also made enough units to be able to deflect his attack, so I dealt with that pretty well. You never want to, you know, overproduce drones or overproduce army in Zerg. It's always a fine line. You always have to be asking yourself, do I need more drones or do I need more army? And I saw he was about to push out, you know, his army was getting pretty big, so I knew I needed to pump some army. And it looks like his rally is still a little bit broken here. It's just, yeah, sending it all the way down. But that was overall good for me, because now we had about even supply, and now I've shot up about 20 supply over this guy. So it's a good trade. I'll take that. And see, he's getting weapons too, which is really nice. You know, I'm still on weapons 1, so my upgrades could be a little bit better. And my money, you know, I probably need a macro hatch here, but I'm going to spend it all pretty soon. But yeah, so this guy, he's really on his back feet right now because his hatchery's up late. I'm already starting to saturate my third. My army's bigger than his. And it all boils down to that early pressure that I have with these lings and the early map control. So I'm just going to try to build my lead, you know, make this hard for him to push. It's really the only way he can push and be successful, because if he goes all the way around, you know, I'll just be able to pump a bigger army on him anyway. And here are my lings. I want them to get on that hatch as soon as possible. It looks like I just maybe attack move a little bit too far away, and that might actually cost me this hatch, but it doesn't matter. You know, I'm still harassing. I'll be able to see how big his army is. I almost got that down. If I went straight in, I would have. So that's a little mistake on my part again, but I see his timing on his third. See his army. I'm keeping him on the defensive. That's the main thing here. And as we see, you know, that early lead is shooting into, you know, something that's now at 40 supply advantage. Still have 20 more drones in him, so I'm looking to just max out right here on 3 base. Maybe get a 4th here. Yeah. I can use this as a macro hatch, and, you know, when my main line's out, I can just send all these drones down here. So it's always good to, you know, if you have a lead like this, you have map control, just stop dropping hatcheries, you know, on bases, so you can just, right when you run out at your main base, you just, you know, send your drones down there, and your economy is still going to be strong. Now, I like to go hydras before I get too many infestors. And that's just a matter of preference, because, you know, I think hydras complement roaches really well. Infestors are good, but, you know, you can micro against them. Say if he fungals here, he's going to want the rest of my roaches to move up here and leave these ones out of range. But what you can really do is just keep your line straight. And if he fungals you, you know, you're going to take a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough to really turn the tide of the fight. A Hydralist is going to be able to deal more DPS over the course of the fight if you keep him in the back. So, but I mean, on the same note, if you get really good fungals off, sometimes it forces the Zerg to fight in a position he doesn't want to. So, you know, it's really a balance of what you want. And it looks like he's sending out his overlords to scout the map at the worst possible time, right when I get 200. This is the perfect time that I want to move out at. He's only at 169, and my Hydralist is just wrecking on his overlords. He's trying to get a good little concave here, but I'm not going to let him. I'm going to force him to either come up this ramp or fight in a bad position. While I just pick off all of his overlords. Now he's in deep red. I'm still at 200, so he's going to get a nice concave right here. He's just a nice lineup. Almost all of his guys are attacking. You know, I still have some roaches back here that aren't. But at this point, you know, I'm just focusing on keeping my supply at 200. You know, as my roaches die, just build more and more roaches and hydras. And that's just the beauty of Zerg. You can just resupply so fast. And at this point, you know, it's looking grim for him. He doesn't have much of a saturation on his third. Doesn't have his 4th up yet. We just traded, and I'm, you know, almost 70 supply above him. So at this point, I think it all really boiled down to that, how we both opened. You know, it wasn't that he was slower than me on the macro or anything like that. It was more like he almost just got counter-stratted. And I feel like the early lings can really lead to a big lead in the mid to late game, just because you can produce more drones early. You have map control. You know you're safe, unless he's, you know, being sneaky and building up an army in the back of his base and does some sort of timing push. But aside from that, I think the early map control you get with lings is essential in DBZ nowadays. So that's just my overall strategy. You know, try to harass his third with speedlings, try to hold on to map control, try to keep an eco lead as long as you can. And that's all if you don't overrun them with the initial ling packs. A lot of the times, you know, you can just outproduce them with no guys harvesting gas and, you know, 1 or 2 queens just injecting and just pure pumping lings for a little bit. But you know, right when you figure out that he's going to be able to defend against your pure ling attacks, just, you know, transition out. Just get a lot of drones. Make sure you know if he's building up an army, and you know, just try to pinch out the extra economic advantage. And, you know, I'd say that's a pretty good way to play ZVZ nowadays. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the whole matchup, but thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed.